Donald Trump has now mostly completed his photo op down in McAllen, Texas, and he spoke, arguably, debatably it was speech. Noises came out of his face, and they communicated something. What they communicated to me was that his brain is now the consistency of tapioca pudding. And we're gonna show you some clips to demonstrate that concept. So first, he's got it a little bit together in a couple of these clips. So first, here is him talking about the wall, how they have iterated on the design based on the demands of the Democrats. Here is the president.
We're gonna build a powerful steel barrier. They didn't want to use concrete. I said, okay, I'll use steel, it's stronger. It's also more expensive, by the way, but it's stronger. I'll use steel. So we'll call it a steel barrier. Now people should be happy. They said concrete, we don't want a concrete wall. I said, that's okay, we'll build a steel wall. I like it better if you want to know the truth, Ted. And we'll call it a barrier instead of a wall. And I'm okay with that too. I don't care what you call it.
That could have ended with, where am I? And it would have been totally consistent.
When is home? How are this?
So we're gonna build a great barrier. They didn't want concrete, so they probably wanted wall, because I assume what I got from them was that their issue with the wall was that it was concrete. So we're gonna do steel, which is better, it's stronger. You're gonna say more expensive. Yeah, it is more expensive. I like it better though. Steel's good.
It's just
I like
so
steel.
weird.
We'll call it a barrier, not a wall. Why do people care what it's called? I don't care. I like calling it a barrier.
It's
pretty
so
good.
strange. It's all over the place. So he has throughout his life, he has kind of carved out this all-encompassing philosophy of negotiation that is conveniently consistent with him just kind of being a numbskull. You know, so it's let's never let them know exactly where you're coming from. Throw nebulous concepts at them. Well, that's also what you do if you're not good at that. So that's one thing. The other thing is, I've heard conflict. I love in the middle of it when he says, if you want to know the truth. It's like, I do.
I would love to.
That sounds like a great plan.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get it from you, especially if you say, at this point, now you're gonna tell me the truth?
Yeah.
Which you're kind of admitting that you have been lying, but we didn't need you to admit that.
Keeping them honest segment from Anderson Cooper.
Right, it's like, shouldn't that be the...
What were you doing before?
We're keeping them lying.
I don't mind it so much.
So we just wrapped keeping them lying. Now it's time for keeping them honest. No,
Switching
I like
it up.
Anyways, and then the other thing is, so what am I supposed to get from those times when you've told us that the steel barrier that you can see through is what your own Border Patrol people have advocated for, so because that's more functional for them.
Yeah.
And this was a speech given after an earlier point where we had already seen images of someone having sawed through your steel wall with a saw.
Yeah, well, look, he's loose with language. So when he said he would build a see-through wall, what he meant was a saw-through wall. It's tense, is troubling for him sometimes. And also, I like your description of his negotiating strategy. So he has said, in fact, he doesn't like he's not going to announce back during the campaign what he's going to do in Afghanistan, because then the enemy will know their plans. Which that's a good step. You don't say what you're gonna do, but the next step, next level thinking is don't know what you're gonna do, then no one can figure it out.
Yeah, so
anyway, we got more video though.
Plausible deniability. I just wanna say about the steel before you go forward. In the long term, I think this is the next step of his strategy is he knows this is a last ditch effort to get his wall or not get his wall. He is saying the word steel over and over and over again, which is synonymous for Pennsylvania. Over and over and over again. So when this wall finally gets shut down, then he can go back and say, Pennsylvania, I wanted to bring money to this state and they told me no.
Yeah. That theory, we will know that that's true if one day he's saying it's gonna be a steel wall, the next day it's gonna be made of orange peel.
And then coal.
Coal. Yeah. Okay, so look, that was a little bit bad and weird and rambling, but not really worse than anything he normally says. Check out this.
They say a wall is medieval. Well, so is a wheel. A wheel is older than a wall. And I looked, and every single car out there, even the really expensive ones that the Secret Service uses, and believe me, they are expensive. I said, do they all have wheels? Yes. Oh, I thought it was medieval. Older than the wall, you know that? And there are some things that work. You know what? A wheel works and a wall works. Nothing like a wall.
A wheel works and a wall works, and well, wheels wall in, well,
And you know, those wheels that we have now are made of the same material as the original wheel. It is, I don't know, I've seen a cartoon on the Invention commercials, the Invention Hotline commercial, which is a carved giant metal circle.
Well,
and that's it, we today only use medieval inventions. That's actually when he cuts off innovation is medieval. The original lever, inclined plane, and wheel.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Wheel wells and then there's white wall tires. That's confusing because it's a wall with a wheel, and that is the craziest person who has ever been obligated to have an audience.
It's weird because it's so expensive, but it's also free association.
Exactly. Look, we're joking and everything. That's just a crazy person ranting. And people are looking at them. And it started to remind me as I watched more of these clips of the Kanye West thing, where you remember, like, he went to the White House and he was saying a bunch of crazy things, and then some people were saying, at what point are we just laughing at mental illness? That, like, Kanye West clearly isn't well, so when we're laughing at what he's saying, we're kind of laughing at the fact that a person is not right.
This isn't mental illness. This is his appeal, which I've said before, which is the kinds of things that people say at work when they're complaining. And it's those little turns of phrase, quips, such as, a wheel's medieval, you say we shouldn't use wheels, gotcha. But people's first priority is to be able to say gotcha. And if the person who is their banner for saying things, like where they get all their information, has a little quip, it must be a good quip, so I can just repeat it, boom, I got it.
I guess, yeah. Yeah, I don't know, if you like the wheel thing, he's got you. There's nothing that you will not accept from him. Okay, so it turns in a slightly darker, crazy direction in this next clip.
Human trafficking, it's a horrible thing. And much of it it's a world problem, not a US problem only. And they come across the border, and it's a bad thing. And they drive. They just go where there's no security, where you don't even know the difference between Mexico and the United States. There's no line of demarcation. They just go out, and where there's no fencing or walls of any kind, they just make a left into the United States, and they come in, and they have women tied up. They have tape over their mouths, electrical tape, usually blue tape, as they call it. It's powerful stuff, not good. And they have 3, 4, 5 of them in vans, or 3 of them in back seats of cars, and they just drive right in. They don't go through your points of entry. They go right through.
I don't know what any of that is.
I don't really either.
I don't know what any of that is. I think some of that was based on the 4th Fast and Furious movie, I think, where they drove across the desert. Also, did you know that all human traffickers are initially traveling east before they enter the United States?
That's what I was thinking too.
What do you mean they turn left in the United States and they just drive? Like, honey, load up the Accord. We're gonna break some laws today. None of that's true. The blue tape, what's the blue tape thing? Is that from 24? I didn't watch 24, so I don't know.
But that's it.
It's strong stuff though, that tape.
Last night, Trump tweeted, we lose 300 Americans a week, 90% of which comes through the southern border. These numbers will drastically be reduced if we have a wall.
I don't know what that means.
Now, those words together don't mean anything. Like there's no like subject verb agreement, but on the whole, there's like, you can't parse that in a way that makes sense, yet still there are people in the reactions to that tweet who are defending the non-statement because they've already picked a side, they've already decided that they're going to back up Trump.
I think their reins are tapped in tape, or wrapped in tape. Strong stuff, blue tape they call it. Powerful stuff.
It's also great if you want to edge. You want to edge, you cover it with blue tape.
Is it that blue tape? Is that what he's talking about?
I don't know,
but not strong.
He's just revealing the part of the discussion he grasped, the part of the briefing that he took away from that, which is blue tape. And they probably tried to talk to him for an hour, and all he knows is blue tape, I'm gonna use that.
Trump at the border has apparently been learning about the different ways that walls can be beaten. So we know they can be sawed through. Okay, he apparently talked about how acid could be used to go through a concrete one. But it turns out that if you don't have a saw and you don't have an acid, hey, maybe you have a shovel, as he learns in this clip.
Here, this is just a couple of miles from here, from where we're standing. This is a tunnel. This is the second tunnel that recently that we have located. This is an area that we actually have wall.
So I might be reading a little bit into that video, but her tone to me was, hey dummy, this is a tunnel, we have a wall, and they tunneled under it. That's what it sounded like to me.
And his point is, well, that doesn't help me with my argument, so I'm going to ignore it. More or less.
There's just like, if we should have zoomed in on his head and we would have just seen a rat just on a wheel. Like, I doubt he was like really processing what was coming in.
Even though they went to such great lengths to be like, listen, they had a pre-meeting where it's like, he doesn't listen or engage. So what do we do with children? Oh, visual aids? Okay, visual aids.
Yeah, they got, like, you could have just said, hey, by the way, we found multiple tunnels. Instead, they're like, no, that's not gonna, we need a picture. It's a hole in the ground.
Is a hole in, and it's where we have, use his term, where we have wall. Great wall.
We have great wall. Yeah, wheels and walls. Thank you very much for watching this clip from The Damage Report. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell on YouTube to get notifications of our new videos. And of course, you can catch the full Damage Report live every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on TYT Network on YouTube TV.